Welcome back everybody to another HeroRR video, and today this is the long awaited return of the 5th generation VFR project. I know it's been over a year since my last episode, and there's been many reasons for that. First off, I did build a new 10x20 shed complete with solar system and everything else. It's totally done up. Took a ton of work, a lot of money, and there's a whole video on that. If you haven't watched it, I'll put a link in the description and comment section of this video. I finally was able to move out of that old cramped enclosed trailer, and it just totally sucked to work in, so there's a lot of work involved in that. It was a big transition. And another reason is I've been doing a lot of work on the VFR behind the scenes. So anyway, let's catch you guys up on what's been going down. But let's give you a quick recap on what has happened in case you have forgotten or just didn't see any of the previous episodes. I got this 5th generation VFR 2 years ago, which is just crazy to say. I paid $700 for it, which I thought was a great deal at the time, but turns out to be kind of a terrible deal. When I picked this bike up, it was in really rough shape. Really rough shape, as you can see, and that's only half of it. Inside, it was plagued with so many different issues, far greater than I ever anticipated. It was on the brink of death, guys. This VFR was nearly totaled due to not some accident or specific problem or too many miles. Nope. It was almost totaled simply because it's been sitting for so long. In fact, this thing basically was totaled. It had been in the elements for over 6 years, left outside during intense hot summer days, baking the paint right off the bike and bleaching the fairings, and then the cold snowy winters rusting out bolts, chains, and even fork seals. Almost no part of this bike was spared. And with this bike, I actually bit off a whole lot more than I could chew, which is why it's been taking so dang long. Every single part of this bike needed to be gone through, and that's essentially what I ended up doing. From replacing the rusted out fuel tank and fuel pump, completely cleaning the airbox, air filter, and drive chain, I checked the compressions, replaced the spark plugs, and completely replaced the oil filter, and coolant. I cleaned like a million different things, repainted a bunch of stuff, even replaced the sight glasses and the brake and clutch reservoirs and repainted them. I also bought new parts, including a new exhaust, and dumped a ton of money into it. Anyway, we've done a lot and there's still a ton left to do, so let's just get right into it. I am way over budget on this project already, so I'm trying to save some money where I can. I will eventually buy new tires for the VFR, but for now I have a set of older tires that are not great, but they're still a lot better than what came on the bike, and I installed them off camera with my tire machine. I then took the time to repaint the wheels since it looked like total crap. You know the routine: sand off camera, throw on some primer, base coat, and clear coat, and these are the results.
Not perfect, but looks good enough for me.
So working in this shed is so nice. I can definitely get used to this. You'll notice throughout this video new stuff being added to the shed. If you have any suggestions on anything else to add, please let me know in the comments. Before I replaced the paint on the front wheel, I decided maybe I should also replace the wheel bearings. I actually have never done a wheel bearing before, but it seems fairly straightforward. And if there was ever a bike that needed it done, it would be this one. And as you can see with the dust seal removed, the bearing isn't locked, but I think it could stand to be replaced. Alright, this is the front wheel, and here is our wheel bearing. It's not terrible actually, but it's a little gritty feeling, and it makes some noise. This side's really bad, you can listen to it. Now, I've never done wheel bearings before, so this would be a good experiment for me to see how it is. I do have a bearing puller. Actually, before I show the bearing pulled out, if you want to see what the inside is, this is actually what it looks like. Even though the outside wasn't too bad, the grease on the inside definitely seen better days. And here's one of the bearings removed and the spacer. A lot of force was required to drive this bearing out. It was bonded with rust, like everything else on this bike. Next, using a heat gun, I heat up the bore, then with the new bearing fresh out of the freezer, I drop it into place. A little tappy with the driving tool, and the new bearing is seated into the wheel. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update of what I'm working on right now. I've been trying to get the rear wheel to unlock up, and I completely rebuilt these brake calipers, the front and the rear, and they're ready to go, but for some reason, whenever I put it all back together, I can use the brake, I bled it all, I'll hit the brakes, the bike will stop, but then when I let go of the brakes, the bike continues to stay stopped. And the second I open up the bleeder, the pistons will retract back in, but when the bleeder is shut, the pistons just stay out. I've popped all the pistons out, I've cleaned them, I've put in new everything, I've greased everything I can think of. I'm not sure what's going on. The only other thing I can think of is the brake lines themselves are bad. So what I've been doing now is I did some research and I was gonna buy some more brake lines, but the problem is any brake line I buy for this bike is gonna be 20, 30 years old. And because of that, there's a chance it's gonna be messed up as well. So I found somebody online that sold me some braided brake lines, which is a cool upgrade, and they honestly cost maybe $20 more than used OEM lines are going for online. So I figured, hey, we'll go brand new and get some really nice braided lines. So anyway, I've started by, as you can see right here, disconnecting these lines, and I've now disconnected this right here, and you can see just how gross all this stuff is. This is actually a good opportunity for remove this chain guard and just clean everything under here. But as you can see, it's all connected down here. The next thing I have to do is release these two lines here, which I had to pop the battery out, and you can see right there, it's all super rusted. So I'm gonna take that bolt out, and then once that bolt's out, I should be able to drop this, hopefully unbolt the line here and remove this line. And then I will basically be one step closer to installing these braided brake lines. Okay, so this is the bolt from hell. I don't know if you can see it down in there, but I have it soaking in Power Blaster now. It is refusing to come out. It is so rusty and crappy in there. I mean, look, this is part of the subframe right there. Totally crusted and rust. There must have been so much water getting down here by the battery. This is a good life lesson, guys. If you plan on buying a bike, if it's sat outside, there's rust, like just look around. If there's rust on the bolts and cobwebs, unless you're getting it for like scrap value, don't buy it. Like, I've been having fun rebuilding this thing, but it's also been a kind of a nightmare. And I'm going to put way more into it than it's worth, which kind of sucks. But hey, what are you going to do? Okay, I gave up on trying to remove that bolt. It's just not coming out. I decided instead just to pull everything through the loop. So I got this brake line totally off, and this one is mostly off. Had to remove the reservoir just down there, and it is just crap after more crap after more crap. I'm sorry to sound so pessimistic on this. It's just I've been working 2 years on the same bike and still running into new problems. It just starts to get to you after a while. I decided I should check the clutch slave cylinder and see if it looks okay. And it was a little crummy in there, as you can see, but it cleaned right up, and overall it's not too bad. And here's the front sprocket cover. As you can see, it looks like it has never been cleaned before. I feel like I've become the bike's maid, just cleaning up after years of neglect. Luckily, cleaning costs nothing and actually makes a major impact on how I feel working on the bike, which is why it's always nice to spend a few moments to do what you can while it's all apart. Quick progress report here. Starting to clean a little bit of that swing arm. It's actually come back pretty good. What I'm gonna actually do is put the wheel back on, and I think I'm gonna wheel this thing out to the hose and really give it a good pressure washing, cleaning job. Try to get this thing looking better, because man, it is rough. It is so rough, but I think we can make it a lot better, so I'm gonna do that. I mean, look at, I did such a good job cleaning up in here. So once I get that all cleaned up, put the new brake lines in, maybe clean that chain as well. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I have an exciting new shed update for you. As you can see, this big blank wall is missing something. Well, how about a pegboard? I decided to go with OmniWall for my shed. I've used wall control in the past, and although it was good, I think I just wanted something even more high quality. And according to my research, when it comes to quality, OmniWall was the top choice. This isn't sponsored, I paid full price for this, but I just wanted to share with you all the amazing upgrade to my shed. I decided to go with a white pegboard with red accent pieces, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. And as promised, we are back to the VFR. As you can see, it is still filthy. It's time we change that.
Well, good enough for now.
I know it doesn't look perfect, but this is still a major improvement of where it was. Okay, quick update on the VFR project. Still got a long ways to go, just getting kind of in the middle of it now. I have just, as you could see in that last clip, I removed the wheel, cleaned that swing arm as best as I could. Can't get it all off. Of course, you have like areas down in there. It's just, I've been spraying it, scrubbing it, still not getting it all. I'll come back to that later. But the wheel itself looks pretty clean. Apologize for the wind noise. The swing arm looks pretty clean for the most part. At least clean enough to work on now. Cleaned the chain, lubricated it, waxed it. Now I'm going to run the brake lines. So once those are in, hopefully we can actually ride the damn bike. Since that's the last thing we're waiting on now is just rear brakes, front brakes. I got a whole braided brake line kit I'm going to put in. So see how that goes, but getting closer, I think. I don't know. I never know with this project. This has been a lot more work than I anticipated, like 10 times the amount of work I thought it would be. But we're getting through it, little by little. All right, go ahead. Push down on it. Push down, like this. Ready? Hold on. All right, go ahead, do it. There you go. All right, next one. Next one. Yep, go ahead. Now please turn your attention to the front forks of this bike. As you can see, rust, crust, and in dire need of some love. My plan here is to not make these things look perfect, but definitely to clean them up, paint them a little bit, and rebuild these front forks. I'm also taking note how all the brake lines are routed. Looking at all these brake lines everywhere, I'm starting to sort of regret getting the stainless lines. This is going to be quite the project. And yeah, look at these forks. They are just awful. Okay, we got our left side fork off now. It's over here on the bench. And as you can see, it is it is not looking too great. Look at that. This is terrible. Here's the hopefully this fork is okay. It's a little pitted. Yeah, you can see it's just total mess. Look at that. Like, I can only imagine how it looks underneath. Like, look at this. Oh my god. It's just crumbling. Fun fact, I've never rebuilt motorcycle forks before. Everything here is totally foreign to me. If I'm going to lose a ton of money on this bike, then I am at least going to get an education. Oh, that was really loose. Oop. It wasn't leaking. I probably didn't have to do this. But where's the fun in that? Alright, I've watched enough videos on this where I think I can do it. Alright, I got it. I just had to use 2 pairs of wrenches. Alright, so hopefully I can remember how this thing went. We're gonna unscrew this whole cap off. And I guess that goes there. This here. Spacer. Okay. Had to do that. That there. And then here we got our ring. Or our spring. I should be able to, in theory, pull this. Wow, this is long. Okay. Oh. Wow, it just keeps going. All right. All right, so here we got the stanchion. So it's nice and cleaned up as best as I can. There is a tiny bit of pitting. Hopefully that won't leak. I'm gonna give it a shot though. Pretty amazing how it turned out. Looks pretty good. Please don't leak. So here is the bore right in here. I'm gonna try to see if I can clean that up with steel wool, see if we can get it going. Yeah, kind of a better view right there. Hopefully that looks better when we're done. I gotta be really careful not to remove too much material or leaking can happen. All right, so there's the inside now. I have used a ton of steel wool and I've used brake parts cleaner, which I have right here. I even flushed out the inside with the brake parts cleaner. And I'm gonna maybe go back and hit this again with some more steel wool, but I'm gonna take a break from that. I'm gonna try to see if I can clean up the body here. As you can see, it is pitted beyond belief. I can't tell if I wanna keep the Showa sticker or not. I think I do. So I'm gonna maybe try to protect that, and then I'm gonna try to see if I can clean up all this really bad. So I'm gonna try to use wire wheel on a drill, and let's see what that comes with. But anyway, this is what it looks like now, and let's see how it turns out. So I went ahead and I painted this lower leg just to kind of make it look a little bit better. It's not my favorite color, but hey, it looks better than it did, I guess. Here's the stanchion. I cleaned this up as best I could. There is some pitting, but it's not where the seal is, so I'm gonna try running it. Hopefully it does not leak. And over here we have our parts. Everything is laid out the way it was removed. And what I'm going to do, these were the old seals. It actually was not in completely horrible shape, but I think it was leaking a little bit. And here's our old bushings. We're gonna reinstall the new ones. And I have all brand new parts right in here. So let's go ahead and we're gonna get our first part. Let's see, this is the new fork seal. Stick that aside. Of course, we've got fork oil right here as well. So this is a bushing for the stanchion. We're gonna go ahead and install this. This will just snap onto here. Just like that. We're done with that. Honestly, the old one didn't look completely horrible. It actually probably could have been reused, but I went ahead and ordered everything before disassembling the forks. Snap ring is now in place. The damper rod's in. It's not fully tightened down, so I'm going to attempt to tighten it. Yeah, so normally you would torque this down to 20 foot-pound or whatever, but as you can see, I don't have... These are my sockets right here, and as you can see, they don't fit. Yeah, I'll order something and torque it later maybe, but for now, we're just gonna get this snugs. The way I'm gonna do that, and this is definitely not an official Honda approved method, but it's the way I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take this long Allen wrench here, I'm gonna put it in this way, and then I'm just gonna take an open end wrench, and I'm just gonna kind of give it a snug in with this. Okay, that seems pretty tight. I would say that's probably actually torqued. I remember what it felt like when I was taking it out. So anyway, This is pretty much torqued, and again, I'll probably torque it when it's on the bike. So now we are at the fun part. We are at the part where we are going to add in fork oil. So I got my tool here. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so here I am. I'm going to be adding in this fork oil. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you guys a good view of the pouring motion. Yeah, she's drinking it. Wasn't a full bottle. Oh my God, I made a mess. That's why I have this container, so I don't make a total mess of my shed. Here we go, pulling this all through. We're just gonna keep pulling until no more fluid. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my nail back in. All right. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Sorry it's been so long since the last one. My goal for this year is to have this bike completely finished by the summertime at the latest, because I want to wrap this bike up and move on to something else. Something that won't take as long, hopefully. Anyway, thank you all for sticking with me during this series. I plan on uploading mini clips to my second channel, HeroRR Vlogs. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link to that channel in the description and comment section of this video. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.
It's a sick news, put your little arrows out. Let me live my life, the one I'd better lead. All the plans of fantasies, and we looked at them 11 ways. You said, look at me, I looked away, and you wrote the song I wanna play. Alright.